everybody? Welcome back to another great episode. Got my friend Cris here. He's back
Hey, hey.
to contribute. I'm going to talk about a lot of different stuff. The inauguration, Biden becoming president, and all the executive orders, plus many more. How's it going, Cris?
It's going great, man.
All right,
Living life.
let's jump right into it, man. Did you watch the inauguration?
Absolutely not. Wasting my time.
Same here, man. I don't give a shit if anyone calls it like petty. I know that Trump didn't want to be at the inauguration, and you already see it all in the media yesterday. The media fluffing up on Joe Biden.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Everywhere.
I just wanted to read out a couple of articles. I took screenshots of it on my phone yesterday. Let's see here. Let's start from the top. Um, Okay, Chris Wallace saying Biden delivered the best inaugural address I ever heard. From Fox News. Apparently, he got a lot of flack from his fellow colleagues there. Washington Post: Joe Biden delivers one of the best inaugural addresses in memory. CNN Politics: Inside Joe Biden's newly decorated Oval Office. Uh, One of my favorite ones from the CNN there. Let's see. Um, Must see moments. Biden's inaugural speech got it exactly right. Or
Oh, yeah.
the Economic Times. U.S. President Joe Biden has a Peloton bike. That raises security issues at the White House.
Oh, Lord. Is it
Or
afraid his voters are going to come and steal his bike?
I guess, I don't know. And then I like this one video titled Joe Biden's first controversy as president, his Peloton routine. Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
Lord.
Fluffy,
Wow.
fluffy.
Cupcake. Yeah,
Billboard.
big time.
This one was one of my favorites too. Before the inauguration, official Biden-Harris inauguration playlist features Kendrick Lamar, Bob Marley, MF Doom, and Led Zeppelin.
Wow. What a playlist.
What a bunch of
I-
fluff, man.
Yeah. All good things. All good things.
Yeah.
From, mainstream media, of course.
Oh man, his first controversy is that
Oh,
Peloton bike. Oh my god, security
oh,
issues.
this is going to be a tough presidency if we got that kind of controversy. Goodness.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're already
man.
seeing the media bias. I was watching that clip from Fox
Right
News.
away.
Yeah, and
Right away, man. I can't believe it. I mean, I can. It's been like that the whole time, but come on. Look at the when Trump got inaugurated, how the media reacted to that versus this garbage. Unbelievable.
yep, yep. There was no Vogue magazine debacle. There was no. They're even making articles about Kamala Harris's husband. Oh, the first.
Yeah.
Yeah, second. I guess what is this? Second gentleman.
Vice,
What do you call it?
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, but and then
Where
they're
to
already
begin,
talking about
man?
like, Trump's leaving. He looks like such a small man, and blah blah
Yeah.
blah. And then
Come
this
on,
one,
haven't you put him through the ringer already? You're gonna really
they'll
do
keep
some
going.
more right as leaving? Oh, they're gonna keep going, of course.
They'll milk that cow for as long as they can.
Right. It keeps. They already built up the hate. Now it's just getting viewers, people that hate him. It's
Yeah,
disgusting. This isn't news. This is, they're talking about him belittling other people and talking down to him. What are they doing? They're not any better. Why can't they be the bigger person then if they see it as such a problem? But they're doing the exact same thing. I mean,
according to the Daily Beast this morning, worse than we imagined. Team Trump left Biden a COVID nightmare. Allegedly,
okay,
yeah.
okay, because this is all his fault.
And then CNN, Biden inherits non-existent vaccine plan from Trump.
Where,
Yeah,
what have we been doing this last month other than rolling out vaccines?
yeah, they're right. There was no vaccine plan. No one was getting vaccinated at all.
Yeah,
That whole thing with Nancy Pelosi getting vaccinated, that was fake.
yeah, exactly right. Harris got hers too. Yeah, no vaccine plan.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't even have to look far and you can see that he did the best he could with this pandemic.
yeah,
Unlike looking back at Obama when he went through his pandemic, that they didn't classify as a pandemic, but the bird flu and the swine flu, right?
yeah.
did a horrible job with those,
Yeah,
but nobody in mainstream is going to point that out.
yeah. Um, I think the plan was like, I mean, he even came out in the press conference and said like, okay, we're going to give it to the states, and the states are going to be delegating it down to how they see fit. You have
Right,
Cuomo that allegedly had like a whole bunch of vaccines that were not even being used or distributed, and then meanwhile you have
right,
West Virginia that just like completely got all of them out that they needed. So I don't see what their lack of plan is. See, it's just. Hearsay. They're just going to throw shit out there. They're going to continue to talk about, oh, how Biden inherited this and it wasn't even existed, that, this terrible plan from Trump, that blah, 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 blah. They're going to keep going, and like I said, milk it for as much as they can.
right.
And
So it's not even
talk,
holding any state officials responsible for how all this is playing out. It's just letting it all fall on one man
yeah,
who has a million other responsibilities, but you're going to blame him for every problem in the USA.
I like, oh,
Sorry to break it to you, but state and local governments have more decision making over your state and your community than the president does.
yeah. You know,
Wake up.
when I love it of the left when it was Trump telling the states, "Hey, you guys need to open up." They're like, "You need to open up right now." This was like back in the summer, and
Yeah,
they were like 10th Amendment. Because of 10th Amendment, he can't tell states what to do. And then it's like, why isn't he telling the states what to do?
right.
It's this constant back and
Exactly.
forth bullshit. So like,
Contradicting
yeah,
themselves.
because like you delegate that authority to the states to distribute the vaccine, because
Right.
how else, and they
Right.
were saying activate the military, the National Guard. Well, the National Guards are controlled by each of the individual states.
Exactly. They
you
have to
know
request it. He can't just force his way through unless he declares martial law, and then that's going to start a whole new bag of worms. So, obviously he's not going to do that. He's not stupid.
no,
People just don't give him credit where credit's due. Well, mainstream media doesn't give him credit where credit's due.
no,
Never have.
never have.
All the great things that he's done were never even mentioned. It was just constant bashing. But yeah, this guy comes along, Mr. now elect president, and it's all just praise and glory. Our Savior's here.
Yeah, yeah. I had a family member that just came back from Sacramento and then flew back up here, and she was like, I was at a friend's house, and she wanted to show me like the clear day and night difference of putting it on Fox News, like on MSNBC, and then you got like Fox News saying, talking what they normally talk about, and then like
Right.
MSNBC and CNN going, oh, we need to look into reprogramming these Trump
Yeah.
supporters, reprogramming or deprogramming, sorry, the anyone who voted for Trump, and blah blah blah. And so it's just, and I'm like, you see, like, and I'm like, that's been happening for years. It's been like that for
Right.
years, man. It's
Years.
nothing new. you know,
Exactly.
if Trump or someone on the right does something that someone on the left has done, it's going to be like a whole new debacle and a whole bunch of new bullshit. It's been like for years, 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 years.
Right. And at the end of the day, all these senators and stuff up in Capitol Hill, they're all on the same playing field anyway. Everybody thinks you know, they might have a few different ideas. And overall, they're all on the same like agenda.
hmm
And of course, their media is making it seem like left against right. It's all just bullshit.
I was
It's all
thinking,
to divide people.
about it last night, when Biden came in and then he signed like 17 executive orders or something like that, and
Hmm.
he was still talking about his economic relief plan of $1,400 to everyone. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I mean, like some of the stuff that he's already like coming out with is like stuff that already established by Trump, you know, and
Right.
the stimulus checks is one example. And I'm like, man, what a fucking idiot Mitch McConnell it made himself look, because like he blocked it in the first place,
Hmm.
even after like the head of the Republican Party, which was Trump, said, hey, no, you need to go for it, don't fuck this up. But then
Right.
it went through. It's going to go through anyway. I don't
Exactly.
understand. like what kind of political move Mitch McConnell was doing. But that was one of it. It probably cost the Republicans the Senate and those 2 seats in Georgia because of it. And I'm like, what a
Right.
fucking idiot, you know. And I get it that there's a lot of divide going on right now between the right and then the Republican Party, especially with him, people like him, and then Trump and
Pelosi.
stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, that too. I know. But come on, you're not making yourself look good.
No, no, not at all. But to let's see. But yeah, oh, that's what I wanted to say. And another thing, someone had pointed out on Twitter, a man by the name of Jesse Kelly. This is a response, a reporter asking, I don't know if it's Saki, what's Jin Saki? I don't know if that's how you pronounce her last name. The new press secretary.
Oh
Reporter
right.
asked, "Will Biden keep Donald Trump's Air Force One color scheme change?" And then the secretary was like, "This is such a good question." So Jesse Kelly responded with, "Once you stop laughing at how ridiculous this next 4 years of journalism is going to be, pause and think how truly unhealthy it is for a nation to have media like this." They're asking the
Yeah.
tough questions. The tough
Right.
questions are
The really
going to keep the
important stuff
color
that
scheme.
matter to people. Yeah. The stuff that people voted for this guy to take care of.
Yeah.
It's a joke. He's making a joke of the whole office. Trump went in, got things done. Whether you like the guy or not, whether you like everything he did, or not, he went in and got things done. He wasn't worried about the color scheme of anything. He was there to serve the people, which is the president's job. This is
But
just another big joke, another continuation of the Obama era of just
yeah,
pleasing the media, pleasing other world leaders, and not getting anything done. Nothing
yeah,
new.
they're gonna carry him. Even China
Right.
allegedly said like, "Good riddance, Donald Trump." China mocks Trump's exit.
Hmm.
Uh,
That should tell you something right there. That's
yeah.
scary that they're happy this guy's in.
Or I like some, and again, I think that's how you say your name is Saki, because it's Psaki, Saki. Anyway, Jin Saki talking about Biden's mask mandate on federal property, standing maskless on federal property. Was he
Yeah.
doing the press release? Uh, yeah.
Oh yeah, his whole hundred days of mass.
Oh yeah, 100-day masking challenge.
Hmm.
Okay, get the hell out of here. Already, all of his allies in the states, in the Democrat-controlled states, are already talking about plans of opening up. You have New York talking
Hmm.
about we need to open up the economy. You have Lori Lightfoot of Chicago saying we need to open up restaurants and open up the economy.
Right. All of a sudden,
Yeah, it's so convenient now,
after
isn't it?
shutting them all down,
Yeah,
all of a sudden they want to open everything up again. New York too, right?
yeah. They want to like try to legalize gambling in New York now to help boost the economy.
Oh, come on. But they want to kick Trump out at the same time, even though he built half that city.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then they cut his contracts out of the city. You know,
Right.
and that should be like a flag for everyone. This be like you have all these. You have the PGA. You have the city in
Yep.
New York. Um, cutting their contracts, cutting their deals with all Trump's golf courses, Trump's hotels. They want to bankrupt the guy. They want to. Everyone wants blood. You know, not
Yeah.
everyone, but a lot of people want blood,
A lot. Right.
and that should just go to show you how much against the establishment that he was. He
Right.
didn't monetarily gain from anything being in his presidency. He didn't have one of his kids get a bag of cash from Ukraine or China. You know,
Exactly.
uh, as a matter of fact, he wanted to eliminate all the budget spending of sending money overseas to places like Pakistan, Malaysia, and all these other countries that are not going to give us back anything. Just our
Of
taxpayers
course not.
sending millions of dollars over there. You know,
Money we don't, tax dollars we don't have, not to mention.
yeah,
It's throwing us more in debt.
more and more, and yeah, I mean, like he really exposed that not just from the Democrat Party, but even some from the greedy Republicans as well.
Right.
and is really causing a rift. I mean, he's even already allegedly talking about creating his own party. I don't know if you heard about that.
Yeah, I saw the Patriot Party,
Yeah,
supposedly.
I don't know on how well that would be, but it would be interesting to see how that's going to unfold. Because
Oh, he's
still devout Trump supporters out there
right.
that are not racist and that are not white supremacists and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Well, one funny observation, not funny, I guess kind of sad. They voted out one old white man that they thought was a racist, bigot, whatever, to vote in another old white man that has been confirmed racist. I mean, come on, he said some racist stuff on camera
Yeah.
and has had a slew of other issues, including allegations of sexual misconduct. Yeah, congratulations. You did took one bad old man out to bring another bad old man.
Yeah, the system is systemically racist. So let's put in an old
Right.
rich white man back into the office is going to fix it. You know,
Oh, but it's okay. The vice
this
president's
one's yeah, this one's different.
come on, let's face it. Vice president was born here, sucked a couple guys off, got up higher wherever she got to, and just played the game since then.
Yeah, well, I mean that's the truth. You know, she was Willie Brown's mistress while that man was married,
Right.
and
And it's a
yeah,
well-known fact, and people are cool with it. You know,
whatever.
the amount of stuff they just overlook because they hate Trump.
But then they flip
I
out when
mean,
Trump, has sex with a porn star and tries to hush
right.
her up with it. You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's just hypocritical to the max.
yeah. Yeah, it sure is. So, how's it going out there in California? Are they like trying to relax the shutdown bullshit that's going on because of the?
Yeah, so funny thing, you know how Newsom, well, maybe you don't know because you don't live here, but Newsom's kind of been on the news almost every week, shutting down more and more in the past few months. Well, lately, I haven't seen much or heard much from him, so I don't know if he's on vacation or if he's just kind of laying low because of all the heat he's gotten for his French restaurant escapade and whatever other stuff he got caught doing, right? Um, Plus the recalls going on, and that's really gaining steam. So I think he's kind of backing off and starting to let cities decide more of what they're going to do. I know he loosened restrictions in the Sacramento County before we even got to that milestone of loosening the restrictions. So, like I said, he's talking about giving people money back and blah blah blah. So he's trying to butter people up from what I see, so he doesn't get recalled, which is really funny to see. I mean, ever since the news like hit him hard with this recall stuff, he's kind of just been laying back.
Hmm.
So things are kind of getting semi back to normal, I guess, if you
Yeah,
want to call it that.
convenient. Uh,
Hmm.
let's see. I'm trying to look up California in the Trump era. Hicks tempers coup comment. No, California's virus devastation reignites Newsom recall movement 2 days ago. Isn't it like already at over a million signatures?
Yeah. Last article I saw it said 1,000,001. That was a few days ago, so probably closer
Wow.
to 1,000,000 too. So
It
it's gonna
says
hit 1,000,005 by March.
it says the
We got till
Newsom
March.
effort requires petitioners to get 1.5 million certified signatures by mid-March.
Hmm.
They say they have
So
1.1 million names so far.
they got independent certifiers because the state can't be trusted to certify. So they're actually getting volunteers and some hired people to verify all these signatures before they even send them into the state. So in case the state tries to be like, "Oh, this isn't certified," well, yeah, and here's the evidence. So they're getting smart about it this time because they tried to recall him last year, beginning of last year, end of the year before in 2019, and that didn't go through because the state, whoever handles that, sent a bunch of signatures back saying they weren't valid or whatever, you know. And so this time they got smarter about it. They're like, all right, we'll do our own independent and give you all our research so you don't have to do any work, basically.
I don't.
They're, they're
it's
shady.
sad. It's sad when you have to say that. You can't trust the
Right.
state. You can't
Can't
trust the state.
trust.
You can't trust the state.
Right. No.
So you're saying
I
that
mean, especially California. It's all a cesspool of just the
they've
same
they've had the
monsters.
they've had the signatures before
There was
last year.
one petition. There was one petition. It was either I want to say it was the beginning of 2019, and they
Hmm.
had like a year to collect signatures, or and in June of 2020 is when that petition ended. And that one didn't go through because there was some issues with the signatures, right? So this time around, they're hitting it a lot harder.
Wow. It says here the and this is according to Bloomberg. The Newsom recall campaign has raised about $1.5 million from donors, including $500,000 from an Orange County businessman who objected to church closures in the pandemic, according to Gillard. He says organizers
Yeah.
aim to gather 1.9 million signatures by the mid March deadline to account for duplications and disqualifications of some names. Yeah, they're going to really make sure they
Well,
got
tell you what,
it.
I see recall booths all over town. This is just in town here, but they're also I've seen pictures of them all over LA. I haven't seen too many in the Bay Area, but I'm sure there's some out there too. So, I mean, they're hitting the big cities, and LA is about ready to get rid of this guy. They're fed up. I mean, they're being hit pretty hard with all the closures. And I was
It,
there a couple months ago, and it was just devastating to see LA. I mean, it was nice to not have as much traffic, but just to see how all the businesses down there are suffering. I
mhm.
haven't gone to San Francisco recently just because I've heard too many horror stories and have no like intention to go. But from what I hear and the video I've seen, it's just homeless all over the place and literally just shit on the sidewalks.
Yeah.
And I've seen the exodus numbers. It's something like 90,000 people have left San Francisco.
Yeah, I actually got a photo of a recent census. I don't know how accurate it is. Here it is. Change in resident population between July 2019 and then July 2020. Um, States like California, Illinois, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York are all in the negatives. Oh, and
Hmm.
Alaska and Hawaii. And apparently, this, but according to this, this is a source of the U.S. Census Bureau created by Data Wrapper. 69,532 people have left, or at least allegedly, from
Right.
California alone. States like Texas have gained a population of 373,000.
Yeah. I mean, they're fleeing out. So
Hmm.
basically, there's mass exodus out of the big cities, out of LA and San Francisco areas. They're either moving further inland or moving out of state completely. Um, I know we have negative net residents as of now for California, and I can't blame them. I mean, it hasn't been fun. This whole last year has been a nightmare. The best part is, good news, the newly elected president is looking, or his administration is looking at California for how to run the country. So lots to look forward to, folks.
Yeah, yeah. Fine. Let's take a look at that. Let's find out using California model. Oop.
Yeah, there's a
This
piece
is
in
the
the
LA
LA
Times.
Times.
Yeah, Make
Yep,
America
there it is.
California Again. That's
Yep,
Biden's
that's
plan.
I read that one. Yeah,
Watch it. After 4 years of being relentlessly targeted by a Republican president who worked overtime to bait, punish, and oh, come on, no.
I love that article though. You read it and it's such a positive spin on how great the country's gonna be as a California model.
I can't read it because it's wanting me to pay to.
Oh yeah, but yeah, that's basically what the article is like. Yeah, California's had their problems, but we're so innovative in energy efficiency and yeah,
Oh,
with our power going out all the
this was
time.
all the way back in September.
Hmm.
Wow, that they said this, but the LA Times one says 4 days ago.
Okay, no, that's the one I read. And it's talking about how Kamala's from California, and then there's a few other Becerra, he's from California too, and how they're bringing their innovative politics to the country. And I'm just
Mm-hmm.
sitting there like, oh, it's just all bad. Those two. have done nothing good for the state.
Here it is. See if I can open it from. God dang it.
Not letting
Anyway,
you open it.
yeah, it's wanting me to pay for it, but yeah. I mean, I don't know like what they. Yeah, it's not a good model. Not a good model to use if you want
No,
people to
it's
flee the
not.
country. See, it says right here, according to San Francisco, a CBSLocal.com, officially California added 21,200 people from July 1st, 2019 to July 1st, 2020, increasing the state's population by 0.005. Still by far the most of any state, but the bigger news from Wednesday's new population estimate was that 135,600 more people left the state than moved here. That was
Mm-hmm.
as of December 16th, 2020. It is,
Okay, I went from November saying there's a net loss of 190,000 residents. Oh wait, that was in 2018. So let's see.
says it's only the 12th time since 1900 the state has been in the net migration loss and the third largest ever recorded. Third largest ever recorded. Wow.
Well, what does that tell you? If everybody wants to leave California,
I remember one
why would
time
we
when the before the housing crash of like 2008, 2006 or whatever
eight?
time it was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know I had neighbors that were like selling their house for like ridiculous prices and then moving to Texas. So that could have been one time as well. But
Oh yeah, around that time, I know a lot of people that moved to Texas, and yeah, it was mostly Texas at that time. But now they're just going to Idaho, Texas, Tennessee. Those are some of the major ones. Nobody's
yeah.
going to Oregon or Washington, though. You notice that? Not
Yeah.
fleeing up there.
No, not so much. I mean, I mean, we get ours up here, yeah. Because our housing market's going up, and I think it's because of the same thing with like people from the Seattle area trying to move down to where my area is at.
Yeah,
But yeah, California is seeing it really, really bad. But that's their fault, you know.
absolutely. Oh, and
It's
then
getting
not to
worse.
mention tech companies. There's another one I was reading about this morning that's leaving. Huge tech companies leaving for Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
There's another one. You know,
Uh,
thousands of jobs gone in California.
Another tech company moving on to a company moving to Austin. You said
Yep, I was reading about it this morning.
there was Oracle moving its headquarters. Is that
That one's old.
that's old? Nothing from January. Company's moving to Austin.
Let me see it.
Anyway, yeah. Yeah, I don't doubt it, and it's yeah, more jobs, more
Oh, here it is. Let's show big tech out of the Bay Area continues. It's a little bit smaller. Oh, the article won't open. Um, yeah, it won't open the article.
yeah.
But yeah, there's another one leaving. That was posted 23 hours ago, this article. So
Yeah. Yeah.
sad.
My fear is that everyone, like everyone else's fear, is that people that are leaving these blue states are going to come and bring their politics, and
Right.
I can almost guarantee at this point that this was going to happen. You know, you already
Yeah.
had states that were already flipped. You had Arizona's already blue. You know
Right.
that I mean that happened to
Yeah.
them. You know
And there's definitely, yeah, a lot of people moved from California to Arizona too. You're right. I forgot about that one.
yeah. Georgia is already flipped basically, minus they don't
Which is
have a Democratic
crazy.
governor. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, they do, sort of.
Brian Kemp.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still,
He's,
you know,
he's
it's,
more middle of the road, I guess.
yeah. But one thing that Biden had brought up, he signed like apparently like 17 executive orders. And I could bring up the
Yeah.
list. Executive order signed yesterday. Let's see here. We have.
Let's go over the big ones first, I guess. You got the Paris Accord.
All right, yeah, we got. Okay, topic is coronavirus. He launches a 100-day masking
Yeah.
challenge asking Americans to wear a mask for 100 days.
I like how it's a masking challenge.
Yeah.
Challenge not accepted, sir.
Yeah,
Thanks.
there's going to be a lot of people in like Florida that are going to say, "Yeah, fuck off with
Yeah.
that."
Yeah, exactly.
Requires
Well, and
masks.
he's only doing it to federal buildings and federal lands because he can't do it
Yeah,
state.
yeah. And we'll get to that just coming up. So physical distancing in federal buildings, on federal lands, and by government contractors, and urges
Yep.
states and local governments to do the same. Another coronavirus topic, stops the United States' withdrawal from the World Health Organization, with Dr.
Hmm.
Anthony Fauci becoming the head of the delegation of the WHO.
Great.
Uh,
It's such a wonderful job here.
yeah.
So yeah.
Fun. Okay, I'm going to WHO funded by China. I'm going to take a little Google search on that. This is by Business Insider, April 24th, 2020. China multi-million-dollar WHO injection politically motivated. This is according to Axios. This might be a good one. The U.S. gives far more money to the WHO than China does, it says, allegedly. China $86 million, and then we give $893 million.
Yeah.
Let's see. But China is injecting. Okay, this is Business Insider. China is injecting millions into WHO as the U.S. cuts funds. Experts say Beijing is trying to boost its influence over the agency and its deeply compromised chief. Let's not forget. I believe it was like Taiwan, where like the head of the WHO like refused to like acknowledge the Taiwan, I believe, and even cut off someone asking a question.
Yep. That's what we're getting ourselves back into.
All right, and then back here.
Basically, just for us to give them more money, and who knows what the politicians are getting out of it. But
yeah, but what did the World Health Organization do for us at all?
Nothing other than suck us dry.
There's evidence, there's proof that the tweets that they came out with, like, and the information said, oh, this can't be spread by humans. This is only through like bats, or they started off giving clearly false information that someone knew, and like and if they didn't know, why would they be making claims that it didn't jump from human to human?
Right.
We could take a look at that. Let's say WHO says virus doesn't transmit. Of course, they're not going to fact check. Okay, this says here, fact check. The World Health Organization did not say COVID-19 can't transmit from person to person. Verdict false. The World Health Organization has not said that social distancing and quarantine or isolation, nor has it said that not transmitted from person to person.
Okay, but there's a video of them saying it, so
yeah,
I can't believe what I see in here. I have to have a fact checker tell me what to think.
Let's see. I'm gonna find that. I want to find that fucking thing.
If they haven't buried it.
Yeah. Yeah, true. If they haven't buried it, because you're gonna have Reuters saying, "WHO no transmission used." An infamous WHO tweet saying there was no clear evidence COVID-19 can spread between humans was posted for balance to reflect findings from China.
For balance.
It literally says it right here. So preliminary investigations conducted by the Chinese authorities have found no clear evidence of human-to-human transmission of the novel coronavirus.
There you go.
What
Black
the
and
fuck
white.
are they talking about then? I'm going to put this right here so they can see, so people can see it right there. And preliminary investigations conducted by the Chinese. Oh, I'll just put it right here to Twitter.
That's amazing.
Hold on, one more. Anyway, yeah, but right there, and then it says right here, Business Insider. Oh no, right here, fact check. The World Health Organization did not say, nor has it said the virus is not transmitted from person to person, even though there's a tweet from the World Health Organization
stating exactly that. Amazing. Amazing how they contradict themselves.
Yeah,
again.
Fact check. Fact check false.
So I wonder if that would hold up for me if I say something or tweet something, I don't know, on Twitter, but if I write something and then say, nope, I did not say that. I didn't. Look, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Would that hold up in court? Nope, I didn't do it.
No, I did say it. Yeah.
I look, fact check it.
And then
I have
replying
an
to
outside source.
at who Thailand and others, someone said, still Trump's fault.
Of course. Well, Trump should have known better. Isn't he a
How
scientist?
is this tweet even still up? How is this tweet even still up? I don't understand that.
Right?
Investigations
Yeah, you
conducted
think
by
they
the
would have.
Chinese authorities have found that no clear evidence of human. That's misinformation, bro. That's
Amazing. Plenty of that.
That's fucking dumb.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And yet people still fall for it, even though they saw it themselves. They just won't believe it. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
with your own two eyes. It doesn't exist.
Right. Nope. The fact checker said it's not true, so it's not true.
Anyway, we'll continue on. So
Anyway,
that's going to be good.
that one.
We're back with the WHO.
Yep.
Coronavirus topic again creates the position of COVID-19 response coordinator, reporting directly to Biden and managing efforts to produce and distribute vaccines and medical equipment. Okay.
Which we've been doing this whole time.
Yeah.
What's new
Okay.
about that?
So yeah, because it says
He's got a better way of
reversal.
doing it.
It's not a reversal. Yeah. Economy extends the existing nationwide moratorium on evictions and foreclosures until at least March 31st.
Okay.
Another economy extends the existing pause on student loan payments and interest for Americans with federal student loans until at least September 30th. Okay, I guess not bad. Environment rejoins the Paris Climate Accord, a process that will take 30 days. Now let's take a look at what the Paris Climate Accord is.
Let's inform the people that don't know out there. That just it sounds like a
they literally do nothing. Like it literally does nothing.
So, yeah, I was watching a video about it this morning, and it's basically like China saying they will peak their whatever blueprints by 2030. So that means they could still continue to pollute the air till 2030. Works out for them. They're not contributing anything to it. India said they would try and reduce their carbon footprint, whatever that means.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was another country that basically said they're not going to do anything, but that's in the accord. And then there's the U.S. If you have it up, see what the U.S. has to do. They're the only suckers doing anything. In all reality.
America's pledge, we are still in. Basically, all it is essentially the countries coming together saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to do our best to eliminate carbon emissions," but really, I'm trying to find which countries are allegedly a part of it. Criticism, parties withdrawal, choice implementation. It basically gets nothing done. I mean, like, why do we need to be part of a Paris climate agreement? Can anyone explain? Like, can we not like do our own emissions?
We have been doing
which
our
we
own.
have. Yeah,
we have been. We've been significantly reducing our carbon footprint if that's what people are worried about. But now it's basically making us sign this document saying that we will continue to do so while other countries just profit from it, is what it comes down to.
Yeah. Well,
it benefits the U.S. It doesn't benefit us at all.
Let's see here. List of parties to the Paris Agreement. Afghanistan, Albania, Algeria. Yeah, shitload.
A lot, yeah. Again,
yeah, you got countries that literally like Kuwait 0.09% of like the total greenhouse emissions in the world. China is allegedly at 20.09, which they're not going to make any effort to reduce.
Nope.
Wow, is that percentage of greenhouse gases for ratification? Because I don't think we have the United States on here, right? Obviously.
Well, we were somewhere at like
14%.
Pledging to cut by 25% or something.
United States
or we were already
contributes
cutting it back.
allegedly 17.89%. The one for
That's
India, it kind of surprises me because I thought that India contributed a lot more greenhouse emissions than what they claim to say is like single digit. Let me see what it says here. 4%.
oh come on. We got
Yeah,
the second largest population in the world, and I mean
1.15 billion people. Yeah.
you've seen the pictures and videos in India. They're all crammed together with motorcycles going everywhere and cars everywhere. Just
Yeah.
filthy water. You're gonna tell me they're at seven
It's
percent,
it's just a figurehead kind of thing.
4%?
It's like
Yeah,
it really doesn't accomplish much of anything until I see like, oh, what the Paris Agreement was wholly responsible for electric cars in the United States. Then yeah, good luck. Anyway, next up, environment. Yes, it cancels the Keystone XL pipeline and directs
hmm
agencies to review and reverse more than 100 Trump actions on the environment. So that's going to be making us more oil dependent, energy dependent on foreign countries. This is a
right.
big one. Is there any evidence that the Keystone XL pipeline was damaging to the environment? Do you know?
Not that I know of. I mean, I know they had to get environmentalists out there to like sign off on all this, otherwise there would have been large protests and whatever. So, as far as I know, it's got more benefits and drawbacks to it.
It says here is that ultimately construction of the Keystone XL pipeline could have detrimental effects on the environment, such as the destruction of ecosystems, loss of habitats, and the pollution of nearby rivers. But it doesn't say that it has.
Right.
No matter how it would be bad for wildlife, especially endangered species, many imperiled species along pipeline's path, and in areas of the tar sands oil produced. If the pipeline is built, rare wildlife will hurt or be killed. But has it? That's or it's not even fully built yet, is it?
Mm-mm. They're still working on it. I mean, there was
Uh,
millions of dollars of contracts going
mm-hmm,
out, which means
mm-hmm.
jobs, and now those are all being canceled
This
one
is
by
a
one.
this is according to Reuters. Keystone XL pipeline route would not harm environment, State Department says. U.S. State Department on Friday, and this is September of 2018, issued an environmental assessment of a revised route for the Keystone crude pipeline that concluded it would not harm water or wildlife, clearing a hurdle for that project has been pending for a decade. So, yeah,
Wow.
all that work, like it's all that money was dumped into it, and then now it's just going to be halted.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Which is also happening to the wall. Let's not forget that.
yeah. That one's coming up too. Which I want to touch on the Keystone Pipeline. Is that remember when Biden was saying we are not going to, repeal fracking or like go against fracking or
Yeah.
something like that? Isn't that part
Right.
of fracking? Like, aren't they fracking the oil and then moving it down south? I mean,
hmm
isn't that the whole part of it? I mean, I
Yeah.
might be wrong. I
So,
don't think they're doing traditional refinery.
right. Well, and here's the other thing, right? Let's say we do still frack oil from wherever it's coming from and then haul it down here with the truck. Doesn't that put more greenhouse gases in the environment if they're still worried about the climate instead of just
Hmm.
shooting it through a pipe?
It says
I
here,
mean,
November 6, 2015, the Obama administration rejected the project of Keystone XL over environmental concerns. Financial commitment towards completion of the pipeline was weakened by a number of technological factors as well. Innovations in fracking had increased domestic production of oil, and according to the EIA, reduced annual demand of oil from foreign countries to an all time low since 1985. Shifts to gasoline fuel for cargo vehicles, new technologies promoting fuel efficiency, and export restrictions that forced the price of oil to decrease also played a part. So it doesn't necessarily say that fracking is what they're doing for this
well, I'm
infrastructure.
just thinking, how else would they be extracting it?
Yeah, I would think so. Let's see if I can just fracking and Keystone Pipeline. Oh, now it says here, according to USA Today, how fracking killed Keystone and is saving the climate. column. Environmentalists are correct in calling President Obama's decision to reject the Keystone XL pipeline a symbolic victory. This is 2015, but that description is too
Mm.
generous for them. It's a Pyrrhic victory for the order main factor behind Obama's decision. It says Obama's decision is something environmentalists hate even more than Keystone, hydraulic fracturing or fracking. So I guess it isn't dealing with fracking. Interesting.
Mm.
Biden to immediately crack down on fossil fuels, revoke Keystone XL permit. Again, yeah, he said he wasn't going to attack fracking, and it seems like it's what he's going
So
to do.
again, it's back to the Obama era. He's just continuing. Obama term 3.
Yeah, exactly. Equity, continuing on the list of other. Rescinds the Trump administration's 1776 commission, directs agencies to review their actions to ensure racial equity. So let's take a
Yep.
look for
So
everyone out there on what the 1776 commission is. Executive order establishing the president. Oh, 404 page not found. Of course.
go figure.
1776 Commission was an advisory committee established in September 2020 by then President Donald Trump to support his view of patriotic education. The commission, which included no professional specialists in United States history, released. This is so funny that they say shit like. The commission, which included no professional specialists in United States history, released the 1776 report on Martin Luther King Day, January 18th, 2021, 2 days before the end of Trump's term. The report was strongly criticized by historians who described the report as pseudo-history. The commission was terminated by President Joe Biden in January 2021. But it was against the New York Times' 1619 project, and that was pseudo-history.
Right.
None of that, like, it was replete with inaccuracies.
Yeah.
Which, again, you got to take these with a grain of salt when you read it off. Reception. Historians strongly criticize the report, deriding it as pseudo-history and identifying factual inaccuracies and lack of scholarship. James Grossman, the executive director of the American Historical Association, criticized Trump's push of so-called patriotic education, writing that genuinely patriotic history is a rigorous effort to study the past honestly and acknowledge complexity rather than cheerleading or nationalist propaganda or simplistic and inaccurate narrative of unique virtue and perpetual progress. Grossman described the 1776 Commission's report as a hack job and that was not a work of history, but a cynical politics, Grossman said. The report skillfully weaves together myths, distortions, deliberate silences, and both blatant and subtle misreading of evidence to create a narrative and an argument that few respectable professional historians, even across a wide interpretive spectrum, would consider plausible, never mind convincing. But what about it? Like, it doesn't even go into much detail about what is
Right.
in there. What about it? What was inaccurate? I don't
Yeah. What
understand.
was debatable? What?
Yeah.
Who wrote it? Do they even mention that? Like who came up with this? It just says
It's just so hard.
Trump administration 1776 commission. I mean, that doesn't tell you much. So they want to reject whatever he was wanting to teach and instead re-educate on their own terms, it sounds like, because they don't agree with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, history is history. You can't, well, I guess you could rewrite it, but that's called manipulating the facts.
Yeah.
Which there's been plenty of that.
Which I don't know. What was the system in before? It was critical race theory,
Yeah.
So I think he wants to re-implement that. Make sure that we all understand that it's bad to be American.
White man bad, and
we were
yeah.
just so terrible. We've done nothing
Yeah.
good in the world. All right, next one for equity. Prevents workplace discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation or gender identity.
Since when is that new?
Yeah.
Sounds like they're just finding more excuses to throw more money around. And
Census,
who
yes.
knows whose
This is
pockets.
this is a good one. Requires
Oh yeah,
non-citizens to
census.
be included in the census and
Hmm.
apportionment of congressional representatives.
Yeah.
So now they got it. Now they want to add increase the Democratic base by
Hmm.
adding non-citizens
Non-citizens.
to be
Right.
represented
Right.
proportionally by
That's great.
congressional
Since
representatives.
when? I mean, if you're here legally, that's understandable. But if you're here illegally and you want to be represented, that just
Well,
doesn't.
yeah, that's something we got to dig into. I'm pretty sure that they're also going to include illegal aliens in there, or illegals in there.
Right.
I can understand the debate if you had residents, legal
Right.
residents to be counted. That I can understand, but like you're going to increase. I mean, I can see the move. It's a big political move just to try to get more
Right.
seats for Democrats. That's
Right.
exactly
Then
what it
what's
is.
going to happen next? They're going to give these illegals voting rights too. Then what's the whole point of having citizenship?
Yeah.
Completely useless. So being a U.S. citizen means nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have anything special from illegals. I mean,
You don't have to work for
my
it. Nothing.
family came here, on a visa from Romania, legally got the visa with 6 kids. We all migrated here, and it was a few years down the road till they were able to even apply for citizenship. Then they had to go take that freaking test, which was not easy. Most Americans won't pass it. They went through the whole process and they earned their citizenship here. And now you're saying you're just going to let these people in and you're just going to give them their rights and all that
Mm-hmm.
illegally. And
Yeah.
this is what Trump has been trying to fight the entire time. And these idiots don't understand that because they don't know how the immigration process works.
Yeah.
They
It's true.
think you just get to come in this country. No, it's not that easy. If you just walk into this country, you're an illegal immigrant. Go back to your country, apply to come here legally, and then go from there. You have opportunity to come here legally. It's not like
Oh,
they're just going to say no right away.
fantastic opportunity. The only downside to immigrating to the United States is the wait times. The wait times is just terrible.
Yes.
Takes
Well, because
months,
so
if
many
not
people
years.
want to come.
Yeah.
Right.
But however, if you look at like the requirements and the acceptance rate in comparison to other countries, like
Right.
even Canada as well, Canada is more strict to immigrate there.
Exactly.
You have to have a bank account already set up there. You have to have X amount of money, dollars to be set up in your account before you can even get a visa to visit. That's not even just immigrating there. That's just to like work there
Just
or
visit.
just to
Yeah.
visit, temporarily.
Right.
And other countries have way more restrictive policies too, and
Absolutely. Way
uh,
more selective
so
and
that one's a dangerous one, and I'm sure that we'll get to it
it is.
here with more immigration policy that he wants to do. But we can talk about it now because I don't see sins referral.
This government accountability by
So
establish
uh,
ethic rules for those who
and that's
serve in
and that's another
administration.
thing that like they mentioned that Biden wants to do, like make give citizenship to like 11 million illegal immigrants already in the country. Again,
Well, he
political
said to
ploy.
give them legal rights or something like that and a path to citizenship.
Yeah, I'm curious about
Reinstate the
that.
DACA product. DACA,
Yeah, that's
whatever.
that's the next one. So for immigration, fortifies DACA after Trump's efforts to undo protections for undocumented people brought into the country as children. And this is one thing that I never really understood is that if they're here illegally and you have, and even like the DACA kids,
Yeah.
what is preventing them from filing for a green card? Like what's preventing them from actually filling out the paperwork that requires them that you could get like legal status here in the United States? That part I never understood. That like
Right.
you understand that these kids are like are brought here from by illegals. Why is there no organization that like helps sit them down, fill out the documents through USCIS and try
Hmm.
to get legal status here? Because the moment that they petition, their their status is turned to like legal, and while as long as
Right.
the paperwork
It's
is
pending
pending.
and whatever, and they could stay here. Right.
Yeah, I just never understood that. Like, and then yet, even though we know this today, they continue to just, uh, it's if I was in charge and I was creating this DACA program, and it's not necessarily all entirely bad. I just say that the way that the
No.
government should approach it, it should be like, hey, you guys can stay here, and we know who you are. You could continue
Right.
to go to school. However, I'm giving you 12 months 12 months, and you should be able to get it, to file a petition for legal residency. You know,
Yeah. That's
it,
totally fine. I don't think anybody's saying, "Oh, we don't want immigrants here. We don't want people coming over the border." That's not the problem. We want them to be accounted for. That's
yeah,
only fair.
we just want them to take the legal process. You
Right.
know, because uh, they have the advantage of being able to cross the border illegally. People from like other parts of the earth where they're
Europe or
actually having
wherever.
like
Yeah.
wars and genocides and want to seek asylum do not have that luxury of skipping over here illegally as easy.
Hmm.
They have to get on a plane or on a boat, and get over here. That takes a lot more money and a lot more time, and it's more complicated. So
Right.
you want to make the system more fair for everyone.
Exactly.
Like you said, it's no problem of the United States bringing in immigrants or bringing in people from different countries. We just want it to be fair to that someone that's waiting in Europe for over a year to get here. It's not fair that someone just crosses over, illegally. I mean,
Yeah.
just fill out the paperwork. Like I said, if they said like the DACA program, be like, look, you guys got 6 to 12 months. If you guys don't file or don't have any kind of status, between and during that time, you guys are going to get kicked the fuck out of here. It shouldn't be that hard. It's not that hard.
Yeah. It's
Like
not.
my wife is from a different country, and so
Right.
we have filed all the legal documents here at home. We didn't get no attorney. We just paid the fees. It's really not all that hard. If you take a whole day of your time to get the documents that you need, fill it out, send it in, and then they'll reply back with what kind of economic support, like if you have a job or blah blah blah. It's really not that difficult to get these people on the legal pathway. It really isn't. It's
Right.
just no one wants to push that, and I just don't understand why. Probably because Democrats want an easy step for them so that they can become a voter base for them. But
Right. That kind of seems to be the
I
only
mean, it should be
reason for the
common.
plan.
It should be common sense stuff, man. And and so like DACA kids would have a step ahead against American kids when it comes to scholarships and probably even entrance into universities and stuff like that.
Jobs.
Yeah, and yeah, well, they need even if they work, they need a social security number. you know,
Right.
so
Exactly.
that's the whole point, the part of getting the green card.
And again, and I know people do this all the time, but you're making an income most likely working somewhere under the table, not paying in society, and at the same time getting government assistance. And that's
Yeah,
not fair either.
New Jersey made it
No.
legal for if you're an legal immigrant, you can still get a driver's license in the state of New
California
Jersey.
too.
Yeah.
Same thing in California,
All right,
which
immigration.
makes no sense. So we don't have any paperwork on you, but here's a driver's license.
Yeah, and that's one thing I didn't get because I know here in Washington, we for a while you didn't need to have a social security number in order to get a driver's license, and so the federal government started cracking down where it's like, okay, well, I'm giving you guys a grace period. I think this was during the Obama time, not just Trump time, but giving you a grace period of you guys need to fix your driver's license to have a social security number attached to it because when you guys going because they were going to stop recognizing certain states' IDs
Hmm.
from flying through the airlines because it's not going to be federally recognized because
Right.
anyone can have it. It's got no background to it. Um,
Yeah. You just say your name is who knows what, and all right, well, here's your license.
becomes a security issue. Then I can make any
Absolutely.
license that I want. And fakes are so good now. That
Right.
and they just look at it and anyone's flying all over the place and you don't know if they have any kind of warrants or anything like that. So
Yep.
Anyway, immigration again reverses the Trump administration's restrictions on U.S. entry for passport holders from 7 Muslim majority countries.
Hmm.
Entry for passport holders. So like,
Muslim and African countries.
not all of them were even Muslim majority countries anyway.
Right.
But there was like from Iran. If you were not a resident or a citizen and you're flying from Iran, with just a passport, and no, we're not taking you in. It's I mean, I can see the legitimate concern about that, but then they're calling it xenophobic or it's
Right.
racist and shit like that.
Anti-Muslim,
Yeah.
whatever.
Well,
Muslim ban.
these are like legitimate concerns. These are. See
Well,
that?
one thing I'm glad he did, and it's very controversial, and people are gonna probably flip out or whatever, but we never took any Syrian refugees, which looking at now what the Syrian refugees are doing all over Europe, thank God. What a mess.
Taking over Paris.
Yep.
I mean, in Germany.
UK,
Yeah.
they're over in UK, and they're just making a mess of things.
Uh,
And everybody's giving Trump a hard time about that,
One
but
country that didn't take him was Poland. And so one thing I've talked about this before with other people. Those European countries like France, Germany, especially, they're very good at controlling the media, in the sense
right.
of like,
Oh yeah.
if someone was murdered by a refugee, that shit gets brushed right under the rug real fast. Doesn't get talked
Right.
about. There's like a legitimate concerns, like women are not like really able to walk down certain parts of Paris alone because of how the Muslim control it is, and they get spat
Hmm.
at or attacked if they're not with a man and stuff like that.
Right.
It's their inability to really assimilate to their host nation's culture.
Culture. Yeah.
Um,
Right. If you're gonna have your own cultural beliefs and whatever, keep it to yourself. That's great, no problem.
Denmark
But
has an issue with. Oh, sorry.
if you're going to, bring that on to everybody else, then you got a problem. They're being nice enough to host you. It's like me hosting somebody and then them coming and destroying my house and not respecting anything I have.
Yeah, that the refugee thing in Europe has been such a big concern, even still going on, and
Yeah.
even Denmark has an issue about it. I know someone in Denmark that their house was being broken into. Rapes are occurring so
Yep.
frequently. I mean, it is really crazy. Because one thing too that was a loophole was that not all of them that came in as refugees were like they weren't vetted as their background. They weren't vetted. They were just basically opened up and accepted without any kind of background check or search
Hmm.
or questions about affiliation with any kind of extremist organizations.
Right.
So, I mean, you've had a couple France attacks. There was that concert a few
Yeah.
years ago
Right.
that with a knife, I think someone killed a couple people there, and that
Yep.
was a Muslim attack, or an Islamic extremist attack. And then there was another one. Um, fuck, I think it was pretty recently again in France. Let's see, what was it? France terror attack. Uh, this is October 29th.
Yeah, there was one recently. You're right.
Yeah, France attack. 3 killed in Islamic terrorist stabbings.
Yeah.
3 people have died in a knife attack at a church in Nice.
That was in
That's
October.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I remember this one. They took the guy's head off. They cut the
Yeah.
guy's head off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh huh.
Crazy.
In Nice, one elderly victim was virtually beheaded. Officials said. Another woman and a man also died. And then I think even Clint Eastwood made a movie about a possible terrorist attack on a train in France. Where they had the U.S. service members
Yeah.
on there that
Yep.
stopped it. So like these are just 3 examples, and I've said this too before. And this is how what I mean by like the French and the Germans are really good at controlling their media and silencing things, is that why the fuck have we not found out what was the real cause of the Notre Dame fire? They said that it was
Yeah.
like someone had left like a machine on or some kind of tool on, and then it like sparked a fire. I was calling bullshit from the very get go. I was like, this is
Yeah.
probably some kind of religious based attack, and they just don't want the world to know that they screwed up on their policy, and by letting all these extremists in, and they're paying the price for it. Uh,
And that's the problem. It's the extremists, not the real refugees that really were seeking refuge. It's the extremists that they let in without question.
mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what Trump tried to avoid. And everybody was just criticizing him for it. Well, you're welcome.
Yeah, look at this. Okay, so I just pulled up a list of 21st century terrorist attacks in France alone. Um, okay, so it says here October 31st, a shooting. A Greek Orthodox priest was seriously wounded when an assailant shot him in Lyon. We already talked about the Nice stabbing in Notre Dame de
Yeah.
Nice. 16 October, there was a beheading. A Chechen refugee beheaded Samuel Patty in somewhere northwest of Paris. Patty was a middle school teacher who had recently held a class on freedom of speech in which he showed caricatures of the Muslim prophet Muhammad. 25 September, same year, 2020, Paris stabbing attack. 4 people were wounded, 2 serious after a male attacked them with a butcher knife outside the old Charlie Hebdo magazine headquarters. The magazine had just republished the magazine cover, which sparked a similar, more brutal attack in 2015. French police have arrested 2 suspects, and a terrorism inquiry has been launched. You know, just in 2020 alone, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different terrorist attacks in France alone.
Just in France. Yeah.
Just in France.
That's crazy.
See,
One
like
year.
here's one. The first one, January 3rd, 2020, a stabbing. A man stabbed 3 people in a suburb of Paris, killing 1 person and wounding 2 others. The attacker was shot dead by police. The attacker was identified as Nathan C., a follower of Salafism, an extremist sect of Islam. You see, and then next one after that, January 5th, French police on Sunday shot and wounded a man who had rushed toward a group of policemen with a knife, shouting "Allahu Akbar" in the eastern city of Metz. The suspect was on an official list of those monitored for links to militant groups.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
February 3rd, in Metz, a police officer was injured when stabbed by an Islamic State sympathizer. ISIS, you know.
Yeah.
So it goes on. It goes on. So, you know, and that's what I've been saying for ever since they did open their borders. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Didn't know what they were getting themselves into.
Here we go. This is 13 November 2015 to 14 November. November 2015 Paris attacks, the single deadliest terrorist attack in French history. Multiple shootings and grenade attacks occurred on a Friday night. Among the locations targeted were a music venue, we mentioned that, sports stadium, and several bar and restaurant terraces. 90 persons were killed during a siege at an Eagles of Death metal concert inside the Bataclan. French President Francois Hollande evacuated from a football match between France and Germany at Stade de France venue. After 3 separate suicide bombings over the course of about 40 minutes, ISIS claimed responsibility for the attacks. President Hollande named the Paris attacks an act of war. Yeah. Boom. It's too bad, you know. But hey, it's bad for us to want to stop that. You know, we need to do less vetting and allow just anyone and everyone in. It says next one undoes Trump's expansion of immigration enforcement within the United States. I think that's what they mean by that, is that he halted the deportation of immigrants out of the United States. Another one halts construction of the border wall by terminating the national emergency declaration used to fund it. Okay. I mean, like people keep mocking about like, oh, you say walls work, but people are climbing over it. But then they put fucking
Yeah.
fencing over the goddamn Capitol building.
Right. Yeah. It's funny. Yeah. It says the administration will begin a close review of the legality of the effort to divert federal money to fund the wall. Uh, it's a federal defense wall. What else are you gonna call it?
Well, what happened was is that because Trump didn't get the direct funds or authorization from Congress to take X amount of money to put it towards the
Right.
wall, he diverted Department of Defense funds and used it as an emergency declaration and used the defense funds to get his wall
Well,
funded.
because he already knows Congress wouldn't approve it, Senate wouldn't have approved it.
Yeah,
And to be fair to him, he did promise his voters that he'd get that wall built.
yeah,
He held his promise.
yeah,
I mean, one way or another, he made it work.
yeah. Worked
That's why
on it.
people voted for him. It's part of the reason why they voted for him.
Uh,
So at
another one.
least we finally had someone that kept their promise on
Yeah,
something.
yeah. Which, and I'll go on his immigrant. I'll put the immigration kids. I'll put kids right here. Um, I think the last one on immigration that he put on extends deferrals of deportation and work authorizations for liber- I don't know, with a safe haven, librarians. I was going to say librarians, but it says liberans. With a safe haven in the United States until June 30th, 2022. Um, One thing that he also mentioned is that he was going to stop removing kids from their families or something at the border. And then I
Yeah.
immediately told my friends, like, I call bullshit on that because for one thing, is that it was him and Obama's policy at the first place. But now they're going to
Right.
find out, and they're probably not even going to cover this in the media about how many the majority of those kids are not actually with their biological parents when they get crossing over the border in the fight,
Exactly.
and because they're like, oh, you got kids, in cages, they get so waiting so long in order to get met with their parents. Yeah, because their parents are trying to be tracked down in other countries, man. They're not even in the U.S.
Exactly.
They're being
Right.
brought over by people that are not their parents.
Somehow the majority of people seem to misunderstand that. It's not that hard to understand. You pay somebody to take your kids over the border so they could have a better life. It's that simple.
Yeah,
So you stay behind with whatever money you have saved up, you give to these coyotes, as they call them, and they bring them over.
yeah.
You can't afford to take everybody, but you want your kids to have a better life, right?
Mm-hmm. Or they even get paid to use kids because they know that uh,
Yeah.
they don't get separated at the border, or they get more leniency when they're with the child.
Yeah, true.
Ethics requires executive branch appointees to sign an ethics pledge, barring them from acting in personal interest and requiring them to uphold the independence of the Department of Justice. Okay.
Okay.
Regulation, last one, directs OMB director to develop recommendations to modernize regulatory review and undoes Trump's regulatory approval process. Modernize regulatory review. I don't know what that.
Um, Ethics pledge, improve modernizing regulatory review.
I don't
Neil-
know. Whatever that means, someone out there could comment and maybe explain what that part means. But yeah, that's the list of
That's his
executive
actions
orders.
so far.
Yeah,
Yep,
so we'll see as
thus far.
time goes on. But as I sit here live and breathing, I promise that as much as the media's been scrutinizing Trump over the past 4 years, I'm going to scrutinize, but I'll be objective too. If some good things happen, then I'll
Yeah,
acknowledge it. Uh, but time will tell. But don't expect that everything that this man is going to do is going to be shit and cupcakes and glitter, because it's not.
false promises that won't be upheld as usual.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do hope for the best. I don't want this country to get worse, but so far with what's been done day one, it's not looking too pretty. And the role model that they're looking at to run the country is definitely not good.
Yeah.
So that doesn't leave much hope. I mean, they're either going to sit idle and just kind of cruise through the next 4 years and not do much for America, or hopefully do better, or completely destroy it. Those are kind of the three options, right?
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm sure that the Peloton bike is not going to be the biggest controversy of his
Oh,
presidency, but the media will make it sound like
absolutely
it
not.
is. You know,
Right.
well,
They're
Peloton
going
bike
to
is for security.
stray away from the real issues and focus on what flavor ice cream he's having,
Yeah,
because that's more important.
I think that's an actual article. By night.
It
Oh,
is. Well, no, I saw a video. He was out getting ice cream or some crap, and a group of reporters crowded around him, and one of them, they're all shouting. One of them's all, "What flavor ice cream did you get?" He says, "Oh, vanilla and a little bit of chocolate or something like that, right?" And then he starts walking away, and another reporter's all, "What about Hunter Biden?" And the rest of the reporters just start laughing and tell him to shut up. It's like, okay, so there's the real reporting right there. What's
oh,
important? The ice cream, not your son, and that whole controversy, which, by the
mm-hmm.
way, has still not been
But it was,
figured out.
yeah, no, it's been an attack on the press if it was Trump that said that. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Ginny's
absolutely.
Splendid Ice Creams is unveiling a flavor inspired by President Joe Biden's favorite order. The flavor is called White House Chocolate Chip. Oh.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, adorable.
ColumbusMonthly.com. Ginny and Joe Biden, a love story. How the president and Columbus's favorite artisanal ice cream maker fell for each other. Oh. What a
Adorable.
crock of shit, man.
What an amazing president,
Oh,
dude.
Jesus.
I mean, he's not getting hammered on anything so far.
This is funny. This is according to News Talk WHCU. PETA students to protest new Biden ice cream at Cornell.
Uh,
uh,
I'm wondering if all the BLM and Antifa riots will stop now that,
no,
they're
did you hear
fearless
about?
leaders.
Did you hear about Portland and Seattle yesterday?
I
Portland,
just saw something about that.
yeah, Portland police arrest 8 after rioters damaged Democratic Party office, an ICE facility, uh, following Biden's inauguration. Oh, but Lou, was that
Nice.
a right wing extremist? No, actually they weren't. This is actually it was Antifa. They spray painted the anarchist sign around the
Nice.
Democratic building in
Oh,
Portland. Yeah,
I thought
but
they
it's
were all
hard. Like
friends.
if you try to read these articles, they're not going to be saying like what their affiliation is. Let's see. Yeah, at least yeah, because you'll see it's creative headlining. Creative. At least this is by CNN. At least 8 arrested. Oh shit. At least 8 arrested in
Sounds
Portland as demonstrators vandalized federal ICE building, Democratic Party state headquarters. Now I fucking promise you, if it was any of like the Proud Boys or if it was any kind of pro-Trump group, they would have put that shit right
mm,
there on the headlines.
right on the
Pro-Trump
headline.
mob, attacked ICE building, and Democratic
Or
Party.
Trump supporters or whatever. Yeah,
This was a leftist organizations that did this because
attacking their own.
yeah, attacking their own because they're like we didn't want we want shit done now, and uh
Promises were made. Yeah, well, sorry to break it to you. You should have already known promises weren't going to be maintained.
yeah, because it won't say that it was Antifa. They won't. It doesn't go into any detail of who the group was, and that right there should be a red flag as to
Yeah,
so.
that should be noted as misinformation. Where are the fact checkers?
Yeah, where is it? Like, it's not a pro-Trump
Where's the
mob on
fact
that
check?
one.
Yeah. Where's there be screaming who's responsible?
Yeah,
Disgusting. It's
but
filthy,
there we go.
cesspool of.
But hey, that wasn't insurrection. No, not when it
No,
was
nope, not at
attacking a
all.
federal building. Attacking ICE. That wasn't a coup. That was that.
That's different. It's
I was a
not the
pro-Trump
Capitol
mob.
building.
Come on, get the fuck out of here. See, like the hypocritical double standard.
Yeah,
But and one message, if I can get out, is that I urge everyone, that when we find this kind of hypocritical double standard bullshit, blast it, man, blast it. Let it be
yeah,
known, because the media is not going to
exactly.
do their job. The media is going to try to fluff it and fucking carry this guy all the way into the
Cover it
very.
up, and yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Everybody needs to keep
We're,
their eyes open, do their own independent research, stop relying on mainstream because they're just on that same agenda as
Yeah,
the
here's
Biden
here's a
administration,
tweet from
whatever.
someone by the name of Davey Alba. Right-wing echo chambers are condemning the media for not reporting on Portland and Seattle rioting. On the left, people are saying, "I live here and there is no rioting." The Times is reporting no. Instead of amplifying rumors, read this. What the fuck? Read. Hours after Biden inauguration, federal agents used tear gas in Portland. Yeah. But Mike Baker told me that his firsthand sense of what happened is it didn't seem like it was roaming mass destruction type events. So yes, there has been some unrest, but the right appears to be hyperbolizing it.
Of course. So stating facts is hyperbolizing it, huh?
Yeah.
Anytime the right points out any hypocrisy, it's um, well, some information's true, some's not. Let's get it fact checked. But as soon as they publish an anti-conservative article, yep, it's 100% true.
Here we go. Rants. Mythical Antifa peacefully riot after saying they'd riot, catching Seattle, Portland off guard. How do you peacefully riot? Like, what the fuck is that supposed to mean?
Right. So that's peacefully riot, but when the police
Wow.
over at the Capitol let you into the Capitol, that's not peaceful rioting.
This is according to mynorthwest.com. And it literally starts off by saying Antifa, the mythical group invented by right wingers for reasons unknown, peacefully rioted in Seattle and Portland. Though they posted flyers on social media saying they would turn violent, some were caught off guard. Joe Biden's America, am I right? After
Wow.
several acts of non-violent property destruction and love taps, the police foolishly label assault. Seattle police arrested. Is this guy being like sarcastic
That
by
sounds
writing
sarcastic as
this?
hell.
Yeah,
Let's see what CBS has to
I
say.
think I think he is
Protesters
being
damaged
sarcastic.
Democratic headquarters
Yeah.
in Ice in Portland.
Portland
A
police
group of
arrested 8, with
protesters.
police clearly planting a large knife on one of the suspects, who was possibly seen on video
Shut
brandishing the
up.
weapon before police made contact. See,
Okay, that's sarcasm.
yeah, I think it is sarcasm.
So listen to this. This is from CBS. A group of protesters carrying signs against President Joe Biden and police marched into Portland on Inauguration Day and damaged the headquarters of the Democratic Party of Oregon, police said. Police said. Some in the group of about 150 people smashed windows and spray painted anarchist symbols at the political party building. Some demonstrators carried a sign reading, "We don't want Biden, we want revenge," in response to police murders and imperialist wars. Others carried banners declaring, "We are ungovernable." Okay. So they're just calling them uh, anti Joe Biden protesters.
Oh, get the fuck out of here! That's the
Not
left
saying
wing
anything about
extremists.
Antifa. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they are very creative with all these
Yeah,
headlines and what they're
and
calling
the
them. They're
wording.
being very careful on what they call them and the
Yeah,
wording.
yeah.
But if it's any right conceived right extremist group, call them right out in the headline right away. Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. It is.
Did you see that video of Ted Wheeler finally like getting fed up with all the protests and basically
Yeah,
like you guys need to stop this after this was after joining him all summer and getting spit on and whatever else. He's finally getting tired of it himself. It's like
yeah.
what a joke.
It is. It is. It was all
And
planned,
then
man.
breaking into all these federal buildings, breaking into federal courthouses. There's no outcry from the media of how these people need to be extremely punished
Yeah, they
for
they attempted.
attacking our democracy.
Yeah, they attempted to light a courthouse on federal courthouse on fire
Yeah,
in
weren't
Portland.
they threatening some judges and stuff too? I mean, they were
Yeah, I
destroying
think
the
so.
property for one for like weeks on end, and they weren't being reprehended for it. At least, the media wasn't saying anything too negative. But
It's
one, not I wouldn't even call it a riot. One invasion of the Capitol and the whole right is put on blast. Like we're all responsible, even though most, if not all of us, condemn it anyway, say that it's wrong.
yeah. And
It's just a
I
double standards.
like how
Oh,
people on the left are like, oh, they arrested like 4,000 people during all those riots. They arrested it. And we're like, okay,
uh,
well, you know how we don't fucking know that? You have to like dig deep into it because no one fucking covered it. That's the
right.
point that we're getting at. That
But
if
not only that, they weren't just okay. They were arrested, but then they were also donated money to be bailed out and pardoned
yeah, yeah. Well, let's pull that up. Kamala Harris. Ah,
because they're standing up for something that's right. So we must bail them out. It's unreasonably arrested. No, they're causing damage and havoc. If they're protesting peacefully, that's not a problem. I don't
it
think
says
anybody would.
this is according to the Washington Post. Oh, come on, you motherfuckers. Kamala Harris tweeted support for a bail fund. Condemns riots after. This is Yahoo News, September 3rd. Kamala Harris condemns riots weeks after promoting bail fund for rioters. Let's find another one. Let's see. Kamala Harris is slammed for pleading for people to help small businesses just months after she asked for donations to bail out jailed rioters who burned and looted stores. And that's according to the Daily Mail. Oh, of course, factcheck.org.
Oh, very reliable
Oh,
source.
this is something
The
different
Almighty
though.
God fact check.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't tell you, but like on my page, I removed a couple stuff because I'm trying to get my ads back so I can like kind of promote the page a little bit. But
Yeah.
I've had my ads disabled because of misinformation or misleading information. Let me give you an example. I removed them off right now, but I've taken pictures of it. One of them was a meme of Joe Biden on three different frames, just asleep while there's like a city burning behind him, and then like the last one was him awake going, "Oh, we condemn these riots." Dude, I got fact checked on it, and it said Joe Biden didn't say that he supported the riots and blah blah blah. I'm like, well, neither am I. It's just a meme,
Right.
sleeping, you know. And then another one, which this one was just amazing, and like it. If you try to dispute anything on Facebook about the fact checkers and them getting it wrong, you have to
You're gonna
go
lose.
directly to like the independent fact checker to rebuke their claim of
Oh yeah,
like
I've heard of
fact.
that.
And so like I don't even know how to do that. I'm trying. I'm not even going to go through that fucking process.
You'd have to go to the fact checker website and contact the person that fact checked you. Good luck.
And this was a meme, and it showed this Middle Eastern man in drag. Like he clearly has like the chest hair, but he's wearing makeup and has his nails all done. And it says, "Thank you, U.S. taxpayer. Sincerely, Pakistan Gender Studies Program." And I got fact check on it. And the fact check literally said that the gender studies program for Pakistan was not part of the COVID-19 relief bill. However, there was the ominous budget bill that was signed with it that was sending money to Pakistan for gender studies. And I'm like, how in the fuck? I didn't even say it was from the
Okay.
COVID-19 relief. I said it was from the taxpayers, man. And I'm like,
Right.
oh my Jesus, dude. This is so
Oh
fucking
man,
annoying.
that's how they try to cover it all up.
Yeah. I'm like,
That's
not
crazy.
a single part of that was false. And it literally says in the fact check that I was correct. That it comes from the taxpayers because it was the budget
Right.
funding for the government. And I'm like,
Right.
oh my god! So I have to get dinged on that. And then another one
Man.
was I was taking direct quotes from Congresswomen Nancy Pelosi, Maxine Waters, and I forget the other one, or was it four total? Anyway, it was a meme that had like four panels on it, and it was direct quotes of what they said about
Oh yeah, I saw that
Protesting, they
one.
need to go out and protest. They need to go, like,
Yeah.
Maxine Waters' most famous one of, when you see someone off on the other side get out of the gas
Yep.
station, you need to approach them and get in their face, tell them they're not welcome. I took direct quotes. I got fact checked on that, saying that it was missing context. I'm like, how much
Yeah,
fucking
I saw
missing context?
that.
I took direct fucking quotes, word for fucking word. You know,
So I don't know if that was on your page that I saw the fact check or if it was on somebody else because I had a few friends that posted that same meme and yeah, it was the same thing, missing context. So I went to the fact check to see what kind of BS they come up with, right? And they're basically like, yeah, they said this, but it was in this context and not in. It's like, how can you misinterpret that?
what
It's
what's starting to
clear.
really piss me off is that you get fact checking because like I can have my page being at risk of being removed if I do too many of those, but I'm not lying. You know, I'm
Right.
actually creating satire of real truth. And like I'm actually using, I'm not using made up quotes. I'm not using made up facts on it. I'm taking what you
Yeah.
can directly find as the truth, and I'm still getting dinged on it. And I can have my page
So
removed
it's
because it says that I'm saying that taxpayers are funding a Pakistan gender study program, but that I get fact checks saying that the budget bill is funding Pakistani gender studies program, or it's missing context. I think that if you get dinged for a fact check that and the ding is just missing context, I think that is the most dumbest fucking thing ever. Because like, well, it's either it is true or it isn't. What's the context
exactly.
behind it? Do I have to explain further? Do I have to write, please see attachment and a fucking three page fucking essay explaining like the background? No, what it
Yeah.
doesn't make any fucking
For
sense.
every it doesn't make a difference. They still said what they said, and that's all that you post is what they said.
Yeah, and
But
thank you,
it
U.S.
doesn't go along
taxpayer.
with their it
Literally,
doesn't go along with their yeah. Thank you, U.S. taxpayers.
yeah. But
It goes
it did.
against what they want you to believe, so of course they're going to fact check you.
I got dinged because it didn't come from the COVID-19 relief bill. It was come from the budget bill. Well, I never said it came from the COVID-19 relief bill. Oh, it's so fucking dumb, man. And
Yeah, it's
yeah,
like read it again.
but
Just try
yeah,
and read
you
it
see,
again.
these fact checkers that you see online, they're all just left wing bullshit too. It's so hard to like fucking
All of them, all of them. If you're going to be unbiased. That's fine, but it's not unbiased at all.
yeah, yeah. So
And the fact that the news isn't being reported accurately is really frustrating too, because you have these left wingers reporting their view of things, their opinion, and not reporting the facts. It's
yep,
fine if everybody reports the same thing, but they're not. There's always bias to it. They're just like with this whole Biden versus Trump thing, clearly biased against Trump and clearly biased for Biden. It's day and night. You can't
yep,
even deny it.
yep,
And they're totally cool with it. And that's the other thing that bugs me, you know. They're fine with certain people having their freedom of speech and having their opinions, but not others because we don't agree with your opinion. So shut up or, sit back.
let's deprogram
How
you.
is that right? How is that okay? But
Yeah,
whoever is fine with it clearly doesn't understand the ramifications of it. Pretty soon it's going to come to a time where the media won't agree with what you have to say, and then you're getting attacked.
yeah.
But they don't think that far ahead.
Yeah, we're literally facing a time where now I have to not only second guess what I have to say, I got to triple guess, quadruple guess, because even if I'm spouting the truth, even if it's just a fucking meme, I get
Yeah.
it's missing context. No, independent fact checker. It's because it's attacking, and I'm not. I mean, I see it on my side because that's who I deal with as people from the right, more Republican leaning, more conservative leaning. And maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see it happening to the left. But people want to claim that it's happening on the
Right.
left. But I just think it's just, even if it is, it still doesn't make it any more right. Does it still make it
And
any more correct?
and even if it is, what I wrote on my Facebook the other day, I may not agree with what you have to say, but I'll stand up and fight for what you have to say,
Yeah, I'll defend to the
for the
death the
right
right to
to the
say it.
right to say it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
It's
mean, as Americans, that's our First Amendment right there. If
yeah,
that's being violated, whether you agree with the reason why it's being violated or not, it's still being violated,
It is. And and
and that
social
should
media
bother
is
everybody.
setting this precedence that's dangerous. It's
Right.
not right, and I would think that the majority of Americans would agree, but a lot of Americans don't agree because it's it's going against their opponents, and they see it,
Right.
and they acknowledge it, but they're for it. What I think is that we need to make steps forward to start making internet and these social media platforms of public utility. And my defense against that is that we see, my argument against that is that we see even during this pandemic, if kids need to go to school, you need to have internet. You know, you need to have a computer or any kind of electronic device that can do these Zoom calls for school. And I got it. These Zoom calls are not. These Zoom classes are not the greatest for children. You really want them in school. But if
Right.
there's ever a time where something happens at the school where they need to close down for a week, and they can supplement at least for temporarily their education through home and through. I'm in the university right now that's paying $23,000 a fucking semester. I haven't stepped foot on the fucking campus.
Haven't used any of the facilities, haven't
No
enjoyed anything of what you're
library,
paying for.
nothing. What I'm
Yeah.
paying for. This is going to be $46,000 a year for something I have to be at home on a computer for. Thank God
And
I'm
they're not
using.
paying for your computer, they're not paying for your internet, they're not paying
No,
for any of your stuff, but you're
just
giving them money to
just thank God that I'm
feed you
using
some
the
bullshit.
GI Bill and it's getting all paid for. But
Yeah.
still,
Yeah, but
but
someone that's not,
that's not
you
right.
know,
Yeah. I
what a
mean,
joke.
so what
You're paying for all
what
these
other things
facilities
are
you can't even
affected? And
use.
I could tell people this out of firsthand experience. If anyone's in a STEM field, they're not going into these universities for their labs, their laboratories, or any kind of like
Right.
field kind of
Clinicals or
yeah, or anything like that. I mean, the clinical, if
yeah.
you're in the medical field, they actually do because that one is a higher priority. But I'm sure that there's limitations on that too. I don't know. I'm not in
Yeah, I've
a
heard
nursing
some
school, but
clinicals, depending on what they are online as well through Zoom or whatever,
ugh,
which how
bro,
how are you
that
supposed
for
to
what? I mean,
get
I literally had these labs that are like for chemistry online that I just watch a video and come up with a lab report. I did nothing physical to do the lab experiment, and I'm supposed to learn from. It's the dumbest fucking thing ever. And this is what the
yeah.
tens of thousands of dollars are being dumped into. And that so that's my argument of why we should make the internet a public utility. Now, my argument
Absolutely.
for social media platforms is this: people on the left trying to argue and try to like criticize the people on the right, saying, "Oh, they're a private corporation," just like that cake shop in Colorado that didn't want to make for.
Hmm.
Well, I hate to tell you this, but no one relies on a cake shop in Colorado for their businesses, for their livelihoods. Also, there is nothing in the Constitution that protects your right to have fucking cake. And
Yeah.
so, like these social media program platforms, they receive public funds. How does like, let's say, the CDC, how does like state and local health departments get their message out? It's through social
Right.
media. They receive public funds, right?
Exactly.
That's a big marker right there.
Our tax dollars go into advertisements on their platforms.
Yeah. If you're in 2021 and you own a business and you're not on social media, you're basically fucking dead. If you don't have any
Right.
kind of like website or social media platform, you're not going to go anywhere almost basically. So there's a whole
Yeah.
lot of people that have these small businesses that rely on the advertisement to reach their people, whether it's like through online sales or in-store brick and mortar stores.
Yeah.
That's they rely on that.
And now these small businesses are afraid to even state any opinion because they might get canceled,
Yeah,
they might get deplatformed, they might get whatever. So yeah, slowly silencing whoever is making money off these platforms for sure.
yeah.
If your opinion doesn't go with the main or the popular opinion, whatever you want to call it.
I listened to someone's argument. He was a gentleman from the ACLU that I forget his name. Listen to him on a podcast, and he's like, the thing that he fears, and I completely agree with him, is that what do we do? Because I think the first step we need to make it a public utility, but who do we
Yeah.
trust? Which to monitor like language on these social media platforms. People say, "Oh, we should let the government." I don't even trust the government to handle that.
Yeah.
I don't
No.
even trust the private section to handle that. But what I think that we need to do is that maybe Poland's approach to it is that if tweets are taken down, and it violates
Policy or whatever.
Polish citizens' right to freedom of expression, they get fined for $2 million.
There you go.
That's the proposition.
I'll make them think twice.
Yeah, even if it's the most hateful shit, right? Let's say people are actually plotting a murder, which could be like one of the worst things that could happen on social media.
Yeah, or a terrorist attack or whatever.
Or anything like that.
Yeah.
Should that be taken down? And like who gets to, because you have to look at it from that like, should it be taken down, or who gets to take it down? Who gets to deem that hateful? We can all agree that kind of speech is illegal, right?
Right.
Or should it be just kept up and then also reported, and then and then the person arrested and fined, or what, and brought to jail for it? I think that way is even less dangerous than just, because we start chipping away at the freedoms. We start saying this speech is not allowed. Right. They're plotting murder, or they're plotting a protest, plotting a riot, or they're plotting to get together at their house during a COVID lockdown. You see how it breaks down. It starts chipping away at at more non-threatening and non-violent speech. So I don't know.
Soon you have to write each other little notes and hide them in places in order to communicate.
It's going to be complicated. There are even research that came out that's saying that most of the rioting that was plotted did not happen on Parler, but most of it happened on Twitter and Facebook. But
of course,
ridiculous.
But everybody's fine with deplatforming Parler because it's just been presented as a rightist extreme hate platform.
I still don't understand how that was legal. It was obvious insider collusion.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But again, the mainstream's okay with it, so that's fine to deplatform them.
Yeah.
Even though it is taking away others, opportunity or whatever platform to have their say and stuff.
Yeah.
But we're gonna silence those voices because we don't agree with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a dangerous road it's going down, and of course, not a problem until it affects you, and then all of a sudden you can be crying the same thing everybody else has been this whole time.
Yeah, because the left's going to quickly see that they're going to be like, we need to cancel this speech. Then the tables are going to turn at some point where they're not the ones in power anymore, and someone else is going to be, and then they're going to be doing the exact same shit to them. It's been proven time and time before.
Exactly. It's nothing new.
Yeah.
But clearly history is doomed to repeat itself if we don't learn anything from it.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
Yeah, well, that's a good note to end off on. I really appreciate you coming out, man, and doing this for me.
Sure.
And thank you, everyone, out for coming to watch. And see you guys next time.